Good morning, class. Today we're going to be working with algebra equations, and we have two different word problems that we're going to be working out with two different models. So the first word problem that we have says James has 6 fewer clips than Sarah. If Sarah has 14 clips, how many does James have? So the first thing we want to do when we have a word problem like this is take a look at the information that is already given. We want to know if there was a change. And in this problem, there's not really a change. We're just comparing the amount that Sarah has to the amount that James has. So we're going to evaluate the word problem to determine the information that is given to us. And it looks like the larger set in the word problem is what Sarah has. So Sarah has 14 clips, which I have listed here. And we're going to now look for the smaller set in the problem, which is what James has 6 fewer than Sarah. So we're going to add that into our word problem as the smaller set. And so the missing information here would be the difference of what James has, because we know James has 6 fewer than Sarah. So we're going to take a look at this balance beam here, and always on a balance beam you're trying to balance both sides. So we know on one side we have the larger set, which would be 14, and on the other side we have the smaller set, which is 6. So we know that we need to add 2 6 in order to get 14. So we're looking for that missing number. So in this case, we're going to subtract. So we're trying to determine the difference by subtracting 6 from 14. So we know that 14 minus 6 is 8, and we can test this out by saying 6 plus 8 equals 14. Now, in order to model that, we could always use base 10 blocks. In this situation, I actually have clips just like in our word problem. So we will take 14 clips. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. These represent the 14 clips that Sarah has, and we know that James has 6 fewer than Sarah, so we're going to deduct or subtract 6 clips. And so that would leave us with the difference. So the difference would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, this should equal what we have on the other side, which is the larger set being Sarah's 14 clips. So 8 plus 6 equals 14, and that's one way to model that word problem. The next word problem we have is Sarah grabbed 14 clips out of the jar for a project. She decided that was not enough, so she grabbed more. She now has 22 clips. How many more did she grab? So for this problem, students might automatically think that they're going to add just because of the word how many more. But for this problem, we are actually going to use a subtraction tool. So when we evaluate this problem, we know that the information given is what Sarah initially had, which was 14 clips. But then she decided that was not enough, so she grabbed more. In this problem, there was a change, so we're going to take that information. So the initial or the start was the 14 clips, and then we have the result, which she ended up with 22 clips. So our result is going to represent this length here, the 22 clips. Our start is going to represent this length here, which is 14 in green, and then our change is going to be the orange here. So we know that we need to add a number here to 14 to equal 22. So again, we're going to use the subtraction tool. We're going to say 22 minus 14 in order to get that missing number. So we're going to go back to our place value chart because we're going to be regrouping with this problem. Again, we ended up with 22 clips, but initially Sarah only grabbed 14. We're trying to determine how many she grabbed the second time, but we have to regroup in this problem. So again, we want to make sure that our numbers are aligned so that when we regroup or carry over, that the information is correct. We cannot subtract 4 from 2, so we're going to have to borrow 1. That now becomes 1. And so 12 minus 4 is 8. This crosses out to 0, so our answer there is 8. And so we know that our missing number, or the change, was 8. And we can test that out by saying 14 plus 8 equals 22, which is our result.